Thomas from Lint is making us a beautiful chocolate cake with chestnuts in it.
So a combination of chestnuts and chocolate is absolutely brilliant, really delicious. So again, it sort of starts with that combination of butter and chocolate that we melt together. So I might just please ask you to get busy and melt that onto on the stove for me. Just again, very gently melt the butter and the chocolate together. Set that aside to cool a little bit, and that's sort of the base of the chocolatiness of that cake.
And we're using 70%.
Excellence. Again, it has to flavour that big cake.
Yep.
And then we're actually going to top it with some fresh oranges as well. So that whole combination of oranges, chestnut, and that beautiful dark chocolate works absolutely amazing. So we've already separated 6 eggs. So for the egg yolk part, I'm just going to whisk this with half of our sugar. And the rest of the sugar we're going to use to actually make a meringue with the egg whites to help sort of give a bit of lift to our cake as well. So I'll just whisk this with the chestnut puree as well.
And how much butter do you want for this recipe?
We do 150 grams.
150,
please.
okay.
Unsalted butter.
And we always do unsalted when we're baking, isn't that right?
I find it much easier if I'm in control of any sort of salt that gets added to a recipe when we're baking. So yes, unsalted butter is, I think, the best thing to use in any sort of baking.
And in with that butter. And we're just going to let them melt together. So you really want to give that a mix too, so you get all the lumps out, or majority of them out.
Absolutely, and you actually want to sort of bring it, you sort of want to make it light a little bit as well. So you want to bring a bit of texture into this.
Okay, that has melted nicely together.
That looks perfect, well
Very
done.
good.
And this is looking pretty smooth and a little bit light as well, so that's good to go as well. So I'll put that into my chestnut mix, and while in the meantime, could I get you to make a little meringue with the egg whites and the rest of the sugar? So just give that a whisk. They don't need to be super firm, so just a little bit light, just little by little, maybe in about 3 stages or so. You can put the chocolate and butter mixture in.
And why do you do that?
Again, because we got the egg yolks in here, so if that's still quite warm, if I put it in all at once, there is the danger that it could actually just be a little bit too hot for the egg yolks. Absolutely. So that's why I'll put it in a couple of stages.
Yep.
So here we go. This is really one of those classic combinations of chocolate and chestnut. Takes me straight back to childhood.
Oh, Thomas, beautiful. I should probably have a taste of that as is, shouldn't I?
There we go. Nice little cake batter as well.
Oh, it's very nice. Yes, and you can taste it is nice with that chestnut. You get that
It sort of brings that sort
nutty
of
flavour.
Exactly.
All right, Thomas, I think we're almost there.
Perfect. That looks amazing. Well done.
Great.
So we can put it all together. So first I put a little bit of flour.
Plain flour?
Plain flour and just a teaspoon of baking powder as well to give us the lift. And then just to sort of have that melt through, I put in some chocolate chips as well.
Oh, he's always got a little bit of extra chocolate on the side.
A little bit of extra chocolate. And then we actually put the egg white or the meringue through in a couple of stages. So you can probably already give me maybe a third of what you have there, and I'll fold that through just to loosen it a little bit. With the first addition, I like to just sort of break it all up to sort of loosen the mixture.
Yep.
And then with the rest, then you need to sort of start thinking about actually keeping all that air in there as well. So that's all good to come in. And then with the rest of it, we just sort of do it nice and gently. So I can scrape that out for you as well.
And we've got a springform tin here. We've just lined it with some baking paper. This cake is going to cook at 180 degrees, and for how long?
Just about 40 minutes for it to cook all the way through.
Great. Thomas's chestnut and chocolate cake has come out of the oven. We've allowed it to cool completely.
And ready to serve now.
All right, moment of truth.
Let's take them out and just put it on a serving plate. You can, of course, serve it just like this as well, so it's perfectly fine like that. But I think I really love that combination of some fresh oranges on top.
Yes. I do notice that whenever you come on Everyday Gourmet, you always sneak a little orange into your chocolate dessert because you do love it.
I do like orange and chocolate. It's one of those classic combinations.
Yeah. It works well. And it's a nice, sturdy cake, so it's easy to come out.
You don't have to be too delicate with this at all. So then, fresh oranges just sliced up nice and thin.
I love the colour contrast of the fresh orange with a rich chestnut and chocolate cake. It just would work so well.
And then just for a little bit of a contrast as well, I got some raw sugar. So I'm just going to top all these orange slices with raw sugar, and we're going to brulee this with a torch.
Wow.
And then
Very dramatic.
very dramatic. But again, like you sort of want to caramelize that sugar.
Yep.
And then just to actually get a bit of that bitterness as well from a brulee. And just do this before you serve it, of course. But when you sort of have that char and that little bit of caramelization with the orange and the chestnut.
That bitter, caramelised taste on the orange sort of gives another note to it, which is quite nice in the chocolate. Yeah.
Okay, and you can see it sort of gets those beautiful sort of caramelised edges. Smells nice and brulee. A little bit more chocolate over the top on the side. And that's a really true celebration of orange, chestnut and chocolate.
It is magnificent. I thought the cake looked perfect as is, but then you adorn it with extra chocolate and the caramelised orange, a fantastic combination. Thomas, thank you again.
Thank you.